Welcome back to Animal Crossing New Horizons. I'm dear darling, as we see what's going on our lovely island of Fawnhallow today. Not recording quite at the 1 AM or whatever I did last time. But still a little bit late. How things been going? I played a bit of Umu. Not too much, to be honest. I was just doing stuff to be real with you. I haven't been on my computer yet. What's this? Not. I'll do all that afterwards. Good evening, everyone. Right now in Fawnhallow, it's at 10:16 PM on Tuesday, September 9th, 2025. I forgot what I was going to say. Yeah, I'm doing Umu with me. I'm just saying, I think I'm absolutely cooked for the Taurus Champions meet. It is so crazy hard to build these characters. I have two characters. It doesn't have 1,200 speed. One of them has 1,000 speed and like just under 1,000. They both basically have 1,000 stamina, 1,000 speed, 2 gold recoveries, and it's like, okay, well, hopefully that works. I don't know. I'm almost certainly going to get to the second round. There's a decent chance I think I will get to the A finals, maybe. I don't think there's any chance of me winning the A finals, and it's going to be a miracle run essentially. Because I felt like I was much more prepared for the previous Champions meet, and even that, it wasn't actually that dicey. I thought it was going to be pretty dicey getting to the A finals, and I had a decent shot of winning the A finals, but no, I was against someone who was very strong, to be honest. But yeah, I don't know. I decided to cut my losses. I'm like, I'm not going to spend more time training for this absolute nightmare Champions meet. I'm just going to look forward to the next one. And here's a kicker. Now I'm at a crossroads, because the optimal play for the next one is to run triple front runners or say in Sky, who I do have. But I'm just like, oh, but I want to use Narita Taishin, and apparently she's very good at this one. So I'm like, what do I do? What do I do? So I'm probably going to do a split strategy where I do 2 front runners. Well, no, I'm probably doing the other strategy where I'm doing a late racer and end closer, and then instead of doing a front runner debuffer, like Haru Arara or Rokushin, as people are calling it. Sorry, Haru Arara is not what people are using in this one. That's Taurus Champions meet. This makes no sense, by the way, if you don't play Umu Miss Me. Just sort of nod and pretend like you understand. So instead of using Blockshin, I am just using Saiyan Sky. Someone like, what's the point if I can't use some of my favourite characters, right? That's kind of the entire point in my mind. So yeah, I don't think it's entirely optimal, but I feel like I should have a pretty good chance anyway, especially because I'm starting early this time. Like the last cup, I spent most of the time not training for it, because I was like, you know, I want to get my Team Trials team better. And my Team Trials team is better. It's not quite complete yet, but it's good enough to a point where I'm like, I can easily go between grade 5, grade 6. I think I'd have to push a bit more to get to grade 6, or at least learn more about the mechanics. But anyway, that's no biggie. The only problem with the strategy I'm using is it means I need to make 3 sets of grandparents, or 3 sets of parents essentially, which is going to be a real nightmare. But yeah, cool as I need 1 for front runners, I need 1 for late surges, and 1 for end closers. So right now I'm just working on the end closers one for Narita Taishin, and then I might pivot to just doing a front runners if it turns out that's too difficult to build. I don't know, you see? I'm thinking this through. Anyway, that's your catch talk for a moment. I'm playing through this Star Realm, the ZZZ event patches. I've not played the main quest, so I've done the thing where you can just skip and just start doing the event without doing the main quest. And honestly, I don't think I've been spoiled on anything. I think I was a bit spoiled in the last patch in ZZZ, in the summer one, but I was also like, oh, okay. But Star Rail was just sort of like, oh, this character who I knew exists is here. And I'm like, okay. And then everyone else is here, and I'm like, I don't know how you're here, but I can guess. That's about it. But what should we talk about today? I'm not really sure. I don't think I have anything left on my holiday chat. D&D. I don't know. I need to do some more D&D planning for tomorrow, to be real. because, well, to be fair, when I took the time off, I was meant to be doing some D&D planning, but it was also, you know, I took time off because I was busy doing other stuff. So, unsurprisingly, while I was busy doing the other stuff, I wasn't doing D&D planning. So yeah, I mean, like, I have a general idea of what is going to happen. I just, like, at some point need to solidify it. It's a bit weirder as well, because this group has, like, not hard pivoted, but pivoted away from the story arc I thought they were going to do and see to a completion. So instead now we're just sort of picking up a different character story arc, essentially. Which is also going to be very interesting, because I'm not sure how invested this player is going to be with the story arc. So part of me is weighing some things up from a meta level decision right now. It's like how lax to make it. You know, do I make it, you know, like sort of tonally shift genres because this player is not as invested in the story as the other character arc was? Is that okay just to make things basically sort of like explode and be crazy and sort of go with it? And I think maybe the answer is yes. I'm not entirely sure, to be honest. It's a bit difficult to say. But yeah, we are very much at the stage, I think, where things are like my players and characters are both very capable now. So I've really got to be smart with how I do things. Because in the other campaign, we've left it off at a point where it was just like, oh, they're doing a divination. And I was like, ooh, I cannot tell you why, but this was a really, really interesting divination to do at this exact present scenario. And I cannot expand any further why. I left a little tiny hint. But at the same time, I was like, I can't give the entire game away. But it's very, very strange. And I think we're going to have some big revelations. Not necessarily related to the story arc that we're currently following, but at least somewhat related. To story arcs we are in general following. What that's going to mean? I don't know. We're going to have to find out. And by we, I'm going to be like, I'm going to find out. And then they're going to find out once I find out. But it's interesting. It's exciting all at the same time, is probably how I describe it. Anywho, I was randomly just thinking about Hunger Games again recently. I don't really have a good reason as to why. It was more just so it just came to mind, and I was like, oh yeah. And then I remembered, you know, sometimes when things happen in a movie or web, well, okay, inside jokes I suppose happens within groups of friends, right, very easily. But one which happened, like we watched I think we watched all no, did we watch all Hunger Games in theaters? No, I don't think so. I don't remember when I watched the first Hunger Games or whatever. Maybe I watched it with a friend, I don't know. The second one I remember I watched at a friend's house. The two parts of the third one we watched in cinema, along with the sequel, the prequel, I guess. Songbirds and Snakes or something, which I actually quite liked, to be honest. But yeah, there's another one coming up, right? Like Sunrise of a Reaping or something. I don't know. All prequels, unsurprisingly. Because, well, I mean, spoilers for the sequel for the main series, but it kind of ended quite conclusively. But yeah, I was just randomly thinking about it again. But there's a part in, I think, movie 3 part 1, where Katniss sings The Hanging Tree, which is a very sort of macabre song, which has a sort of vibe of like, I don't want to say folk song, because I mean folk song as in sort of like a folklore-like song, but not the genre folk, you know? But it goes, are you coming to the tree? They say they strung up a man who murdered free. Stranger things have happened, no stranger will they be. If you came at midnight at the hanging tree. So it's a very dark song, which, I mean, Hunger Games is a dystopia. It would be kind of strange if it were just like, oh, sunshines, rainbows and trees. Yeah, you know, and I appreciate the Hunger Games, I suppose, series for leaning into that sort of dark grittiness, which is why I like Songbirds and Snakes so much. Perhaps a particularly relevant scene, I suppose, to what song I was singing just there. If you've seen the movie, you'll know what I'm talking about. I was just like, whoa. Anyway, Yeah, so for whatever reason, that song became like an inside joke within our group of friends. But the joke wasn't actually singing the song. The joke was basically you start the song and then you never finish it. Like you just go, are you, are you, are you, are you, are you? I don't even remember how it started, but someone started singing it and then they did that basically. Instead of actually like singing it through to the rest of it, they just kept going, are you? And then the joke was just, you just go higher and higher and higher and higher and higher until you can't go any higher anymore. And that's it. And you just finish. It makes no sense. It's not a funny joke, as most inside jokes are when you say them out loud, but I was just so randomly reminded of that. And I think if anything, I was reminded of that before I was reminded of the actual song itself. Which is more, I suppose, to do credit, question mark? To the staying power of a song. Are you, are you, are you, are you, are you, are you? I'm just trying to think what to do for thumbnail art. I guess I'll draw the mockingjay. Well, I can't really draw a mockingjay, so I guess I'll draw a bird. And it has like an arrow for it or something. Is it that's a Hunger Games symbol? I don't know. It doesn't even look like a bird, to be honest. But it's strange how those like very silly inside jokes, I think, can sort of get stuck in your head, right? They're just the sort of thing which is like, oh, this makes no sense, but there's not much context besides this, and then it just keeps on going. That's all there is. Do you think? And it's just absolutely permanent. I'm not sure what is going on. Some crosswords over here or something. So I'm basically just catching up on my Discord notifications, seeing what's going on. But yeah, what else was I going to say? I don't know, his inside jokes are just very random. I don't think there's anything else in Hunger Games. I'm trying to think of other ones. I mean, we watched the Beekeeper recently, while we were on holiday, and then we just kept making sort of like bee-related jokes. The Beekeeper, is it a good movie? It's, I think, an average action movie, in which case I wouldn't put too much credence on that. I thought it was meh. I don't know what the general consensus is. Like, I didn't think it was like terrible, but I didn't think it was nothing to write home about. But the thing which was more amusing, if anything, is for some reason there were so many just like metaphors about bees in the entire movie. Like, and also my other friends basically was like, it's John Wick but with bees instead of a dog. And I've not seen any of the John Wick, so I don't know how accurate that necessarily is. But yeah, I mean, it's not like a movie I'm meant to take that seriously, IMO. It's just, you know, I think it is a bit tongue-in-cheek with how over the top it ends up being. but I could not get past, like, well, for one, Hunger Games relevant. What's his name? Josh Hutcherson is the big bad in it. And honestly, he did a great job, I think. But Jason Statham, as the beekeeper, just kept making like bee-related metaphors, being like, I'm doing this for the hive, or stuff, and it's just like, why are there so many like, I know it's a beekeeper, but why is it so on the nose? But yeah, I mean, I guess it's a very interesting concept, but the beginning of it did make me pretty sad, just from like a conceptual perspective. If you haven't seen it, I suppose spoilers for the first like 15 minutes of a movie, but basically an elderly woman gets like scammed and then she takes her own life, because it's not only she got scammed out of her life savings, but she lost like 2 million because she was in charge of like a charity's bank account. Let alone that, you know, you'd have to buy into the fact that a bank account was like, oh, you just transferred £2 million, or dollars, I suppose, to a random bank account you've never transferred things to before. That's fine. You know, fraud watch won't trigger here. We're not going to block this transaction or anything. Which is even weirder because she had the notifications on her phones from the banks being like, did you do this transaction? Was this you? They showed it in the movie. But then she just didn't do anything about it, which was like, okay, I guess. But yeah, I don't know. It felt like it was an interesting sort of string of things which didn't super connect together, but it was fine. Would I rather watch that or K-pop Demon Hunters? I would probably watch K-pop Demon Hunters again. I think that's unfair because there's not many movies I would watch again. And normally I would not watch them again for the movie aspect. I'd watch them for something else. K-pop Demon Hunters, I'd watch again for the music and the animation. Wild Robot, I would watch again for the beautiful visuals. Stuff like that. I don't even know how many movies I have rewatched apart from Ice Age. That's the only one I can really think of off the top of my head. But yeah. What was I going to say? So yeah, there was just sort of repeated random memes, inside jokes from these movies. Are you, and for the hive, doing it for the hive. The random things like, she's the queen bee. I can't even think what other things said. I don't know, you just like see an opportunity, you make a joke about like a flower, bee, honey, anything vaguely insect. I was going to say, what's a descriptive word for, you know, like avian is like for bird, what's that for bees? I was going to say like apian, but I'm like apiary is like, is it beehive? I don't know. Let's see, apian, is this a word? Relating to bees, there you go. These sort of words I actually kind of love, you know, these sort of like adjectives for very specifically saying of relating to XYZ thing, you know. So yeah, apian tree, maybe that's what I'll call this Animal Crossing video. It's going to be so niche, it's going to make no sense, but that's kind of what I adore about it. Yes. What was I going to say about other things? I don't remember, to be honest. New Genshin Impact patch tomorrow. Lorma's coming. That one I'm excited for. Have I used my Genshin resin? That's a good point. I'm not sure if I have. I have 23 minutes, so I guess I'll round this episode off here and use my Genshin resin really, really quickly. So, if you have been watching, thank you very much. It's been Animal Crossing New Horizons. I've been Dear Darling. Likes, comments, subscription, shares, greatly appreciated. Socials, Discord down below. Hope to see each other again, but for now, it's our farewell. So until next time, bye-bye for now.